Hi, and welcome to Terry Talks Movies. I'm on the road again. I'm heading off to see Captain America Brave New World down at Reading Cinemas. Now, I could have gone to the cinema, which is exactly over here, about 100 meters away, which is my local. I could have gone to that one, but I'm getting lazy in my old age. And I wanted a cinema with reclining seats. So I'm heading off to Reading Cinemas at Millers Junction. Had to pay for a ticket. It wasn't that much because I get a concession, but I had to pay for a ticket to get into that one, whereas I can use my pass to get into the cinema here. So I'm going to do that and head off across, it's about 10 kilometers away maybe. I don't know, I'm not good with measurement like that. But I'm heading off there now, get to see an early session, 10:15, and get some lunch and head back home, because it's going to be 36 degrees centigrade here today, soon to be followed by thunderstorms. So things are going to get a little bit active and a little bit weathery in the near future. So thought I'd get an early session done and use this as an opportunity to get a vlog out. There was a lollipop person just across the road doing the street signs for the school kids, and they just walked across the road in front of me. But here we are, heading out of Hoppers, heading up to the freeway and going to the cinema. Now, I don't think I need any snacks for this one because I had breakfast and I try not to snack between meals these days. And I definitely don't have popcorn on the menu because popcorn has too much salt in it, and I have to be careful of my salt because getting older is not for wimps. But having said that, I'm going to be getting a nice Korean chicken lunch. So, swings and roundabouts. How is everybody? I mean, weird times in the world, we know that, and we're not going to talk about it in this vlog. But I'm aware of the fact that I do get comments from people just saying that the videos I do help them through the weird times they're experiencing on their part of the planet. And that's reassuring. It's really nice. That van thing next to me is a donut van. It delivers donuts. G-free donuts. I assume that means gluten-free. But anyway, I got distracted there. So, yeah, the fact that the videos help people and the videos are good for people to just have a break from whatever the world is throwing at them is a really nice thing that I'm able to do. And it's an unintended consequence of doing the vlogs. I did them originally because I love movies. I wanted to talk about movies. I wanted to share movies. I've done fanzines. I've done podcasts. And I traded up to doing YouTube. Unintended consequences, and not bad ones. I think it's one of the more satisfying aspects of doing this is the audience and the reaction that the audience has to what I do. This is a Nightmare Intersection. There's a Mickey D's on the corner there, which is, when I'm naughty, that's my go-to McDonald's when I need to do a midnight burger run. I've just got a craving for a double quarter pounder with extra pickles, and I haven't had a large dinner. Sometimes I kind of skim upon dinner just slightly, and then I'll go for a Mickey D's burger run and indulge myself. Temperature at the moment is 27 degrees centigrade, by the way. I'm sounding like a weatherman, but go figure. And it's quite windy. The winds are coming from the north, which means they're hot winds off the deserts. And I don't mind that. I mean, I can handle the weather. I can handle the hot weather. But what have I been watching? I did get the Blaxploitation box set that Imprint put out this month. They didn't send it to me. I actually forked out my own pocket money to get that. And it's got some really wild movies in it. Fred Williamson, Blaxploitation Westerns. There's two of those. And I want to talk about them further in a different vlog. And a couple of other films, including Superfly TNT, the lesser sequel to Superfly. Superfly, the original, I have a lot of time for. Superfly TNT I haven't seen since I rented it on VHS back in the day. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm kind of hopeful that Imprint will send me review copies again, and that January was just a bit of a glitch in the matrix. but we'll wait and see about that. I do have some stuff coming from Umbrella Entertainment, which I'm really looking forward to. There's some interesting films that they're releasing for the first time on Blu-ray in Australia. Things like The Crying Game is coming out. And I know the twist in The Crying Game, but I've never actually seen it. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. And there are a couple of other films that I would just skip my radar. And they're getting releases from Umbrella, which is, of course, a good opportunity to see the films. One of them is a 4K release. Some of them aren't. But I'm looking forward to that. And there's also a horror box set that Umbrella is sending me, which I am looking forward to. And why is this person in front of me not moving? So I've got all of that stuff coming out. And I'm also getting a t-shirt from Umbrella, which is great. T-shirts. I've got this rule with t-shirts because I have several metric tons of t-shirts in my life. And the rule is get a new t-shirt, chuck out an old t-shirt. So I'm going to be throwing out an old t-shirt, maybe giving it to a charity shop, or if it's not good enough, putting it into the landfill reluctantly. But I'm getting a t-shirt I'm looking forward to from Umbrella. It was really weird because I contacted Umbrella last time they did t-shirts, and I got a t-shirt from them. But I said, listen, no, I need a 4XL t-shirt, and usually these things are just the 3XLs. And they said, don't worry, we're lifting the game to 4XL t-shirts. Order what you like. We love what you do. Here's the merch. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. New t-shirts I enjoy almost as much as new movies. So getting that coming up soon. I'll do a bit of a vlog about that. And yeah, I know I'm in a privileged and fortunate position to get these review copies, but it doesn't mean I'm not delighted when I do. As I said, it's a privilege, but also it's like Christmas comes every month and cool stuff gets delivered, and I enjoy that. I've got a couple of other things I've got on order as well, which are on their way. There is a 4K of The Substance that I'm getting, but for some reason there's been a delay in getting it to Australia. And so I'm waiting on that. I've already paid for it and ordered it from JB Hi-Fi. And Middle-Aged Geek Girl hasn't seen The Substance yet. And the only streaming service that's showing it at the moment is one that we don't have. By the way, we're on the Princess Highway now. And so she's waiting to see The Substance, which she wants to see. But we've just got to wait for that release to pop into the mailbox. A lot of trucks along here. I'm also looking forward to rewatching it because it's one of my favorite movies of 2024. It's got so much to say. And I really like what Coralie Farjat does as a director. I saw Revenge, her previous film. Got the Blu-ray of it and I loved it. I want to see what she does in the future because she's a director to watch. If you're looking for somebody new whose career you want to follow, Coralie Farjat will be one of those directors to follow. She really does have a singular vision of things. And also she's a kind of genre person. She's a cult movie creator, which I ding and enjoy the idea of. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that 4K of The Substance. I've got a shelf where I put the 4Ks these days, by the way. But inevitably, more and more of them seem to be finding their way through some mysterious circumstance onto that shelf. And so I'm going to have to find a different shelf upon which to store the 4Ks, which is a happy problem to have, I suppose. But I've got some classic films on 4K. I've got Casablanca and all of those ones. I've got Battle Royale, the Kinji Fukasaku movie. Whole bunch of 4Ks, which I try to pick up cheaply when I can. But I've got that problem of where to put things. And I've gone through the A to C, I think, in the main room where the videos are restored, and I know which movies I'm getting rid of from that, and that feels like a breath of fresh air as well. Kind of filtering the movie collection is an interesting and good thing to do, because for me at least, I see it as refining them. The collection is, in all senses of the word, a library. I like the idea of a movie library where the quality of the films that are in the library is constantly being improved, is constantly reflecting changes in my taste in movies. And our taste in movies do change over time. We're not just locked into one thing. Well, hopefully we're not. Though I do know a number of people, well, I'm not going to mention names because you don't know them, who basically how locked into the taste in movies they had when they were 16. And fair enough too. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to kind of gatekeep what people shouldn't do with their movie tastes. But it seems a waste to just be locked into, I liked Star Wars, so I like Star Wars movies. Or I liked Chris Columbus movies and Harry Potter, or whatever it is of your youth. Just locking yourself into enjoying movies at that level and of that genre seems to me to be a waste. And that's something that I'm trying to remember where that started from in my brain. For me, not only liking genre films and cult films and grindhouse films, but also liking films of a higher quality. And I know exactly where it started. It started when I was in my teens. I was looking for something to watch at the cinema. I was living about, I think it's 30 kilometers away from Sydney's CBD in Liverpool. And every time I got any money, I'd go into the city and watch movies, because at that stage it was still relatively cheap to do that. And after a certain time, if I went to see enough movies, I'd run out of cult films and grindhouse films to see in the city. And so I'd have to pick something else, because not seeing a movie, for me at least, and with my obsession of cinema, was not an option. And so I took a chance on things. And I went outside my comfort zone just that little bit when I could. And so I, tire squealed a bit there. You have to check them. And so I went and saw movies that I wouldn't normally see. And the two movies that I remember were not particularly in my comfort zone, that really had a profound effect on me and changed the way I was as a film buff, were, first off, Cabaret. I saw Bob Fosse's Cabaret in a cinema in Sydney. And there were two things that blew my tiny little mind. The first thing was Tomorrow Belongs to Me, with the little blonde Aryan kid singing about how wonderful the landscape is. And then it changes and shifts into something incredibly darker. That was the first one. The second song that really blew my mind in Cabaret, and of course this is down to the genius of Kander and Ebb, who wrote the musical, and Bob Fosse, who directed it, was If You Could See Us Through My Eyes, where Joel Grey's MC sings a song about his girlfriend, and there's somebody in the gorilla suit playing the girlfriend. That blew my mind as well, and it showed me how there could be a tonal shift pivoting on a moment in a movie, and that recontextualizes everything you've seen previously. That really blew my tiny little developing mind at the time, and I'm grateful for that. And it's made me love those moments in cinema where a movie pivots and a movie becomes something else, and a darker aspect of what we're seeing, while we're being immensely entertained by the film, reveals itself to us. So that was the first film. Second film was Serpico because I hadn't seen a police procedural about police corruption and about a real life story about a guy who is part of a corrupt police force and is fighting that. And there are some kind of bad moments in that, but like when he gets shot in the face and things like that. And that one introduced me to kind of moral complexity in cinema as well, where somebody is part of something and he's dedicated to serving the people, and then he finds out that the organization is corrupt. I mean, that's something that plays out in cinema in a whole bunch of different aspects, in a whole bunch of different scenarios. But Serpico kind of widened me to moral complexity in movies and fighting against corruption and fighting against people who are suppressing and controlling other people and controlling people's work in particular. Because I started working when I was 15, and by the time I saw Serpico, I was working. And I was working in shitty little factories and shops and supermarkets and things. Really entry-level jobs at a time when HR didn't exist and there was little control over occupational health and safety of work. I worked in some very dodgy factories with machine tools and welders. I learned how to weld, which I've never used ever since. The idea of a corrupt business culture was something that really resonated with me at the time. And movies like Serpico gave me something that helped me understand that it wasn't just me and it wasn't just my particular circumstances where people could abuse and harass and intimidate their fellow workers. So they're the two that really kind of changed things for me. And cinema teaches us lessons if we're willing to listen to it. We're now coming through Altona, and off to the left is the old place where there used to be munitions factories. In this area just on the right here, is a vacant block of land because there are unexploded ordnances there. And they can't guarantee that if they build there or if they let people wander there, it won't go tick, tick, boom at them. And we're now coming around to the coastal park at Altona as well. So yeah, cinema changed me in so many ways. I mean, apart from doing YouTube and the channel, it changed how I saw the world and how I understood it. And that's a precious gift for a couple of bucks for a ticket. Giving someone a headcanon and changing the way they see the world in a positive way is kind of groovy. And I love the fact that cinema has the magic to do that for us. I'm going to turn this camera just a bit that way, wrong way, because we're heading down towards the waterfront here at Altona Beach. And this ahead of us is Hobson's Bay, which is one of the bays of Port Phillip Bay. Tide's kind of out at the moment, which is good. But yeah, we have some really nice waterfronts not far from our place. And this is one of them. And on a windy day when the tide is up a bit, we get a lot of kite surfers, kite surfing in this part of the bay as well, which always looks beautiful and wonderful. It does stink a bit. There's a bit of anaerobic bacteria when the tide's out. And so you get that kind of briny, rotting smell a little bit when you're around this way. But I still love it. Still enjoy hanging out here. Just grooving on, being on the waterfront. I mean, if ideally, I'd love a house along the waterfront here with an upstairs balcony, because I'm always fascinated by the fact that the ocean is constantly moving, and it has been for a billion years. That water flowing in and out and finding all of its spaces and dragging life up onto the shore and all that kind of stuff. The fact that that's been happening around this planet for a billion years is mind-blowing to me. And the fact that it's constantly changing and doing things and wearing away the land and enriching the world with oxygen from the plants and animals that live in there. That, by the way, is the new Altona Pier. So I'd love to have a place where I could just go out, have my coffee on a balcony in the mornings and watch that constantly changing water in a good way. Got speed bumps here, so if things get a bit wonky, there are reasons. So heading up through Altona now, I always take this is a scenic route to the cinemas. There is a more direct route on the highways, but it's boring to drive. And I never enjoyed anywhere as much as I do taking the scenic route. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Over here on the left is a barber in this little row of shops here. And I went and got my hair cut and my beard trimmed there a couple of times. The second time I went, the guy cutting my hair who runs the place started spouting out about how RFK Jr. and Jordan Peterson were messiahs and were great prophets and were going to fix the world and had a lot of good things to say. And crypto is a good thing, blah, blah, blah. He started on this rant of right-wing nut jobbery while he was working for me. Trimming my hair, trimming my beard. Never went back there. Don't want to give money to that kind of person. By the way, there are beach volleyball courts along here as well, which is nice. Yeah, he did a good job and it was a nice place to visit. And they did that thing where they offer you a beer while you're getting your hair cut. So all of that kind of stuff, but just that philosophy and that dumbness and that toxic masculinity. I'm going to use the word toxic masculinity of drinking that Kool-Aid just made it a repugnant thing, and the very thought of going back there repulsed me enough that I never went back, and I've got other means to get tonsured when I need to. Here we are, we're going around Hobson's Bay now. Over on the other side there is Williamstown, one of my stomping grounds, and you can see a little bit if you look carefully between trees, the city of Melbourne. Now I don't know whether I'm going to go across the weir or not because it may be closed. They do have some roadworks on my favourite way of getting across here, so I'll just have to see what the signage says when I get down near there. Oh, pretty dogs. You got to be careful who you're dealing with. And I don't mind being selective where I spend my money when I've got to get something done, because there's a certain kind of ideology and philosophy that I really don't like. Damn, I can't go across the weir. So I'm going to detour across one of the few remaining level crossings here in Melbourne where the train line goes across. Toxic guys dealing with the blokiness and then the kind of butchness of some hairdressers just puts me off. I just want somebody who's going to be efficient, do the job. They're not going to try to sell me on some kind of fucked up ideology, and they're going to do a good job and just do the gig. I'm not there to be someone to chat with necessarily. I'm not going to talk about sports ball. I'm not going to talk about whatever else guys talk about en masse. And I'm not going to talk about how wonderful Baz Luhrmann movies are, because they're not. But that kind of idiocy seems self-defeating. If you're in a service job, keeping your ideology and your philosophy out of the gig is probably a smart way to run your business. You're not going to lose business if you do that. You can believe all sorts of mad shit if you want to. But when you're in your business, dealing with a whole bunch of different people you probably need to keep stum about certain things. I mean, I don't do it with my channel, but my channel is very much a personalized thing. Part of this product that Terry Talks Movies does is me and my viewpoints on things. So that's a bit different from cutting hair and trimming beards. And so that guy pissed me off and he's out of my life. We're now heading, well, almost at the cinemas. Doesn't take that long, really. And we're heading past the old oil refineries, which are no longer functional. They're just sitting there while people try to work out what to do with these giant tanks and poison soil, I suppose, of this area. They probably will do something with it because it's valuable real estate not too far from the city. I think some of these are still being used for storage of petroleum products and things like that. We will see in the future what happens with it. Coming up to Cororoy Creek Road, and then I just go across the roundabout here, over the hump, and I'll show you where the cinemas are. 27 minutes in at the moment. I have been talking for a while, and I'm not sure whether the battery's going to survive the rest of the talk. So while I am going slow here, I might pump in the emergency battery pack and give it a bit of a charge. There we go, that's better. Got this battery pack that comes with the Osmo Pocket, and the Osmo Pocket itself can run out of battery stuff because it's doing 4K video and also an audio stream separate. So it does use up a lot of battery power. So I've got this little thing that plugs at the bottom, which is an additional battery, and it's incredibly useful, particularly when I am vlogging. And I don't know how roundabouts are where you live, but here, simple rules on the roundabouts on our roads: give way to your right. That's all you need to do in the roundabouts to take care of themselves. Dead simple. Not everybody does it because they're always idiots, but it's the simple rules of the road here, and that makes the, oh, look at that tree up ahead with the wind. That's going to drop branches soon because gum trees are notorious for that. That wind is wild at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, turning in here into this outlet centre where the cinema is, along with a lot of other shops like Bunnings, which is our big hardware store. There's a Taco Bell we'll be going past. You get to see that, which is exciting. I like that car. And a few other places. There's a noodle box down there, and there's going to be the Korean chicken place where I'm going to have lunch. There's BCF, which is boating, camping and fishing. Super cheap auto parts. Come on, man. Office Works. Now, if this truck will just get a move on a little bit, I'll get us to the cinemas. It wasn't a bad drive in until this morning. Can be problematic at times. And I've just passed my turn off, which means I'm going to do something a little bit sneaky. And I'm going to go through this car parking area, which I can't do. I've got to check a U-turn. Or do I? I might be able to sneak out here. We'll just see. Bit of urban exploring. Because the cinemas. And why is that skewed like that? Because the cinemas are just here. Reading cinemas are directly in front of us, just past this lady who can't park properly. And I've got about 45 minutes, so I may go and get myself a coffee. But I'm going to park directly outside the cinema. Just like that. And I will see you guys after I see Captain America, Brave New World.